Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. I'm going to tell you about an item that I'm planning to add to my kit, and I thought maybe that some of you would also enjoy this information as well. This item is called Potassium Permanganate. I've decided to carry potassium permanganate for three main reasons. One, it can be used for sterilizing water. Second, it can also be used as an antibacterial and antifungal solution to clean wounds and infection. Finally, and definitely the most fun reason, is because you can mix it with glycerin to create a spontaneous combustion fire that needs no matches or sparks. So what is potassium permanganate exactly? Well, I'm no chemist, but it's basically an inorganic compound. It's also a salt, and it's a very, very strong oxidizing agent. So let me show you how I plan to use it and store it. First off, you should know that potassium permanganate is not a deadly, dangerous chemical. I actually ordered my container of potassium permanganate from Amazon for about $20, and I'll post the link in the description below. You don't have to be a certain age to order this chemical online, and don't worry, you're not going to get flagged as a terrorist or anything like that. So I went to Walmart and I purchased these two travel-sized jar containers for about 97 cents. They came in a pack together like that. Each one of these can hold 22 milliliters of material, or about 3/4 of an ounce. Now I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's the great thing about potassium permanganate. A little bit goes a really, really long way. I placed the potassium permanganate into one of the jars, being very careful not to get it on my skin or the tabletop. Please note that while this chemical is not dangerous, it can cause some minor skin irritations, and it definitely will stain most of anything that it touches. Okay, so first let me show you how to sterilize water using potassium permanganate. So to make this easier to see on the video, let's take our 1 liter of water and pour it into this container. So we have our container of potassium permanganate. Very carefully open it. I'm going to take a very small Swiss Army knife and pull out the blade. You're going to take the tip of the blade and pull off that's probably too much. A small handful. Let's see if you can see this. A very small, just dusting of potassium permanganate. And we're going to drop that into our water, and you can see what will happen. So you can see it turns pinkish purple as it hits the water. I'm going to take the teaspoon now and just give it a stir. And what you're going to notice is most of that purple will go away. And what we're left with is 1 liter of sterilized water that has a very, very light pink hue to it. You may be able to see that. A very, very light pink hue. That's what you want when you're sterilizing water. You do not want it, if it turns purple, if it turns a dark purple, then you have put too much potassium permanganate in there and you need to start over. Do not drink that solution. This 1 liter container of water is now sterile and safe to drink. And the great thing about potassium permanganate is that it's odorless and it's tasteless. You can't taste anything, it just tastes like water. So next, let's create a solution that can be used in first aid as the antibacterial or antifungal solution to treat wounds. All you'll do to create this solution is to take your potassium permanganate and just use a good bit more. Now the solution is turning a dark, deep purple. This is the solution I was talking about that you would not want to drink. This solution now you could set to the side, and you could use it to disinfect wounds and treat bacterial infections and even treat things like athlete's foot. So finally, let's go ahead and use this potassium permanganate to start a fire. We're going to go outside for that, of course. But what I've done is with the second container, I've now taken this and I have filled it with glycerin. You can purchase glycerin from most any retail store. I bought this at Walmart. I think it was less than a couple of bucks. It'll be in the first aid section. Okay, I'm outside at my grill now. I've got 2 bricks placed down on my grate, and I'm going to be working on top of a metal paint can top. This is not necessary, of course. If you were out in the woods, you could just do this right on the ground, but this is my new grill and I'm not interested in messing it up. So, take your potassium permanganate, and I'm going to pour out an unmeasured amount, maybe a 1/4. Let's make a little bigger fire. Let's use about half. What I'm going to do is take my small pocket knife and I'm going to make a little well or a depression in the middle of the potassium permanganate. At this point, of course, you would want to prep your fire materials, your wood. What I'm going to do is take some of my really small materials and just set that around the potassium permanganate. I will also have the remainder of my sticks ready to put on once this thing actually combusts. So let's see it work. Take your glycerin and pour it right into the divot, and then smother the remaining potassium permanganate with glycerin as well. And now we wait. Pretty neat, huh? And as you can see, the small sticks there are already ignited really quickly. So I hope you enjoyed the video and that the information was helpful to you. I will say one last thing about storage. You certainly would not want the potassium permanganate and the glycerin to somehow combust in your backpack. So I plan on keeping the glycerin in my first aid kit and the potassium permanganate in my fire starting kit. Both kits will be in my backpack, but separated by cinch packs. Now stick around for a little blooper reel, because videos like this that have a script are difficult for me to make for some reason. I'm going to add some potassium permanganate. Spontaneous combustion. Blah, blah, blah. Potassium permanganate. So what is potassium? Hold on, let me get the teaspoon. That's 1/4 of a teaspoon. See, take a smell. That's a tablespoon. Oh, I forgot the glycerin. That's 1/2 of a teaspoon. Am I recording? Oh yeah. Damn it, where's my teaspoon? And what we're left with is a little paint bucket top on top. Man, really? Text messages? Whatever. Yes!